we're coming over here to me. And, I'm already ready. I got my home defense and system. Everyone's going to be coming after me for this one because I've said it all off season, and I'm going to continue to say it because I am not a believer. You know that song? It goes, I'm a believer. Well, it goes, I want to make one that says, TJ's not a believer. Fool me if you try. Ha, ha, ha. I am going to sell Kenneth Walker, running back, Seattle Seahawks. Now, why am I selling Kenneth Walker? Because, everything we're hearing is, well, we got Kubiak coming in as the offensive coordinator from the Saints. He loves the zone system, and Kenneth Walker is going to fit in this system so perfectly, right? But I always say on this show, and you guys know, like with Dalton Kincaid, I said it back when we were talking about tight ends. I said, look, I think Kincaid will do okay. I'm not going to absolve myself. I didn't say he was going to suck. But I was one of the people that was a little bit more cautious than some of the other folks out there because it's easy to perceive things, right? I know the system is going to be great for Kenneth Walker. I mean, you look on paper, that's great. But being on paper and being on the field are two totally different things. One thing we know about Kenneth Walker is he's hardly ever on the field. He's always injured, especially down the stretch when you need him the most. And, he is a guy that was picked very high his rookie year in his Dynasty drafts. I mean, he was a top 3 pick for a lot of people. And I think he's just, one of them guys that's just going to, people are going to try to hold on to that, man. And, I don't blame him in a way. I mean, that sucks when you get burnt like that. But we have not seen high-end running back 1 numbers for Kenneth Walker. And just because the offensive coordinator changed and all this is going to be great for Kenneth Walker doesn't mean it's going to be. That's perception. I'm talking about reality. I mean, what we've seen on the field has not been good. Last year, behind Kenneth Walker, Zach Charbonnet was second amongst running backs with 305 routes run. So if you want to talk about Kubiak, I think he likes receiving backs as well. So Charbonnet gives them a little bit more of an edge in that department. So we can't just sit here and say because the offensive coordinator changed that it's going to be a big, big difference for Kenneth Walker. And why is it crucial to sell right now? Because he's got this buzz. And Wiz, we talked about this kind of thing. It's hard when you're trying to do dynasty sells because some guys people just don't want, but you want to get rid of them. I guess it's a sell, but it's obvious. Right now with Kenneth Walker, he is a wolf in sheep's clothing. You're getting fooled. I'm telling you right now, sell. It's the best time because if you miss out right now and we go in the next season, we're going to be sitting here this time of year next season, and I guarantee you the floor of his value will completely drop out. I mean, I feel strongly about this. Of course, we all have misses, but I feel so strong about this as being so, in my favor. And, we talked about this with Kenneth Walker, right? Let's just say we're on a line from 0 to 100. 100 being him hitting his full potential, 0 doing exactly what he did right now. After everything we've seen, so many people have him going closer to 100, but everything he's done in his career puts him closer to 0. So what's the odds of him being able to turn that around just because of a coaching change? And I'm telling you, the injuries are a killer with him. I traded for him in a dynasty league last year, and this is why I love to do it. Sometimes we make mistakes, right? I fucked up. I'll be the first one to admit it. As soon as I hit the button, I'm like, this was dumb. I knew it. It was like, why did I do this? But I love to play the game, and I love to tell people about my mistakes because I think that'll make people better. I traded a first, a second, and a third for Kenneth Walker, Chigaquonko, and a handcuff running back for one of my other running backs I had because I was going all in, chips in the middle of the table, had the most points in the league, had the best team in the league. I thought, this is the move that'll put me over the top. What happens? My team's steamrolling. I get to week 14 or whatever it is, the first week of the playoffs. Kenneth Walker's out. Oh, isn't that nice? Then the next week, he plays, but he gets 10 points. And then for the Super Bowl round, I'm in the Super Bowl, Kenneth Walker's out again. Oh, isn't that nice? And then 2 days later, they say, Chuba Hubbard's out. I'm like, oh, so there goes all the running backs I traded for. Isn't that nice? I traded all the picks. So I'm telling you right now, Kenneth Walker is a wolf in sheep's clothing. Don't get fooled. He's a con man as far as dynasty goes. And I'm telling you right now, if you buy into this Kubiak stuff and you're one of them people, hey, it's going to be great. You're going to be thoroughly disappointed. And like I said, if you miss out, this could be where his value really falls through the floor because if the Seahawks don't bring him back, and I honestly don't think that they will, he's getting close to the end of that rookie deal as well. He could easily become a complimentary back in this league. And then you really lost out. And I mean, right now you could easily get a first. I would rather re-roll. Get me a Travion Henderson. Get me a Quinshawn Junkins. If I could get that for Kenneth Walker, oh, baby, I'm selling. But, Mike, I see that you're really enjoying my dialogue here about Kenneth Walker. So I'll let you chime in because I'm just getting ready to see if any of the people from the Discord are trying to break my door down. Go ahead.
Yeah, so he's one of those running backs I never feel 100% with, whether putting him in my lineup or taking him out of my lineup. You mentioned the injuries. I feel like he has an oblique injury every single week almost, which is insane to think about. How is this continuing to happen year in and year out? Now, if you are
soft tissue,
exactly, exactly. So if you are a Ken Walker owner and you can't move him, like TJ's saying, you need to go out there and make sure you get Zach Charbonnet, to be honest with you.
Yep.
Because my biggest fear, though, you mentioned Clint Kubiak. This dude in his opening press conference literally gave like a whole ticker tape parade for Ken Walker. Literally was just loving him to death. Now, could that be a little bit of, you mentioned sheep in wolf's clothing. Could that be a little bit of, maybe they're going to try to deal him for something else. Who knows? Like, sometimes coaches put out all this positive stuff to get other people's attention, if that makes sense. So that could be something. I'm not putting that out there, but I just thought it was very weird how lovingly he spoke about him for a guy who, hadn't played with Ken Walker before. It would be one thing if he had coached Ken Walker when he was in college or in the NFL at some point, but it was just very odd. But again, if you can't move Ken Walker, which I agree with TJ, I think you do, you need to make sure you have his handcuff in place because Zach Charbonnet's been productive when he's out there, man, and he's a damn good running back.
Yeah, I'm with you. Wiz, I see you're festering down there up in Alaska. How do you feel about this?
All right, so counter argument here, right? So Ken Walker finishes RB11 week 1, all right, and then he finishes another RB1 week 4. Didn't get there week 5, week 6, 7, RB1 again, all right. You might be asked what happened week 1 and 2. That's not important, right? He had a little nick, he had a little bruise right there. But no, I mean, I agree. I mean, this guy he's a definition of a boomer bust, right? You don't know if he's gonna blow up on your roster with an injury. You can put him on the IR for the next 4 weeks. You don't know if he's gonna play. You don't know what he's gonna do when he plays. So, I'm 100% with you guys on selling Kev Walker. Right now, he's RB12 on KTC, which is pretty crazy. I would definitely sell him for like almost all the guys ahead of him. Or behind him, like Josh Jacobs or Ken Walker.
Jacobs.
I mean, even if I could get like a Chase Brown, you know what I mean? Like get some. I mean, like, yeah, that's what I mean. Like I know that's for people. People are overvaluing this guy, and I'm telling you, it's going to come to an end. And like when you got all these good running backs coming into the league, I mean, you got to be careful, man. You got to be real careful because I think the clock is really the sand in the hourglass is running out on Kenneth Walker. Let me just say that. And my final thoughts is just, like I said, there's only going to be one chance. And I think this is it. Because if it goes bad, how many more excuses can we make for this guy? Highest finish is running back 18 in 3 years. So, I mean, we got to see it at some point. Best ability is availability, and he's never available, and he's disappointed.